For decades, the internet has pretty much run on a simple, unwritten rule. But a massive change from Google, all powered by AI, is threatening to break that rule completely. The question is, what happens next?
So the central question we're digging into today is, well, it's a big one. Some people are predicting a total apocalypse for websites, while others see a bright new evolution. But one thing's for sure, the internet as we know it is careening towards the end of an era.
All right, so to really understand what's at stake here, we've got to go back. We need to look at the foundational principle that basically built the open web in the first place. It's actually a beautiful symbiotic relationship. Think about it. Websites create content, articles, reviews, videos, and they just let Google index it for free. In return, Google Search sends people, real human beings, to those websites, and that's where they click on ads or buy things. This simple bargain is how most of the internet makes money. It's the engine.
And this number? Wow! This just brilliantly illustrates Google's role in that whole bargain. With about 90% of all searches happening on its platform, Google isn't just another player. It's the sun that the entire ecosystem revolves around. Its light, which is its traffic, literally determines what grows and what withers away.
But now, that sun is changing. Google is unleashing this massive wave of AI that it's calling a total reimagining of search. And look, this isn't happening in a vacuum. The rise of powerful AI chatbots has completely changed what we expect. We want instant answers, and Google is racing to stay ahead of the curve, shaking the very foundations of that old bargain in the process.
And all of this has happened incredibly fast. It started with these AI overviews just popping up at the top of our search results. Then, bam, the CEO announces an all-new AI mode, which is now actually rolling out to users. This isn't just a test, folks. This is a full-on strategic deployment. And this really highlights the fundamental difference in approach. Traditional search is like a directory, right? It points you to other websites for answers. But AI mode, it's a synthesizer. It literally consumes information from all those websites and creates its own answer, right there on the results page. He might never need to click a single link again. I make no mistake, this is not some side project. Google's own head of search has said it as plainly as you can. The company sees this direct answer, AI-driven experience as the absolute core of its future.
So, what does this future actually look like? Well, this change has sparked two radically different and totally conflicting visions for the web.
On one side, you've got the critics. Experts like Lily Ray are warning that if this AI model becomes the default, it's going to completely break that bargain we talked about. I mean, if Google just gives you the answer directly, why would anyone ever click through to the original websites?
And the early data seems to be supporting this fear. Multiple analyses are suggesting that AI overviews are already cutting the traffic Google sends out by anywhere from 30 to a jaw-dropping 70%. For a lot of online businesses, that's not a disruption, that is an extinction-level event.
But then you have Google's side of the story, which paints a much rosier picture. The company argues that these AI tools will actually help people discover a greater diversity of websites. And they say the traffic they do send will be higher quality, meaning the person who clicks is way more motivated to be there.
This analogy from a website creator, it just crystallizes the problem for publishers perfectly. For years, they were the books in the library that Google helped us all find. Now, they feel like Google has become this librarian who just summarizes the books for you, leaving the actual authors out in the cold.
So here's the great debate in a nutshell. Is this an apocalypse that's going to starve creators and just flatten the web into this monotonous landscape of AI summaries? Or is it a necessary evolution that'll make search better and force businesses to adapt in smarter ways?
But look, regardless of which vision you believe in, the web is already changing. Businesses and creators aren't just sitting around waiting to see what happens. They're being forced to write a whole new survival guide for what comes next.
And the key mechanism driving all of this is something called the zero-click search. This is when you Google something, get your answer right there in a box at the top, and then you just close the tab. Your journey ends on Google, and a website gets absolutely nothing.
And this isn't some rare thing. Some analyses have found that an incredible 60% of all Google searches are now zero-click. Let that sink in. The majority of search sessions no longer result in a visit to another website.
This forces a complete rethinking of what success on the internet even means anymore. For decades, the goal was simple: get the click. Now that goal is shifting. It's about getting your brand mentioned in that AI summary, becoming the cited authority, and just hoping that visibility translates into a user searching for you directly later on.
So the new playbook kind of looks like this.
First, you have to create deep expert content that the AI models are going to trust, what Google calls EEAT. That stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Second, you have to structure that content almost like a database so the AI can read it easily. And third, you have to optimize your website to convert the few but highly motivated people who still click through.
And this all leads to a much bigger, almost philosophical question. We are moving from a web that was made for human eyes to one that's being made for machine crawlers. What does that future actually look like? So welcome to the machine web. This is a world where content is formatted for algorithms first and humans second, where we just read summaries of summaries and independent voices really struggle to get heard unless they can strike a deal with a tech giant or pivot entirely to the chaos of social media. That rich, diverse, and often weird open web, it could become much, much flatter.
One of the web's early pioneers, Dame Wendy Hall, captured this moment just perfectly. The internet will evolve, of course, something new will emerge. But for the millions of people, creators, and small businesses that were built on that old bargain, that evolution might just come too late.
So the machine web isn't a theory anymore, it's arriving right now. And it leaves us with one final crucial question. In our quest for these instant, perfect answers synthesized by AI, are we at risk of destroying the very library of human knowledge that makes those answers possible in the first place?